up? It's Jason Newsted, and you're watching Elcuarteldelmetal. Check it out!
Let's talk about your new record, heavy metal music. I can hear a lot of Motorhead influence on your record. What else served you as well as an influence to write your own songs in this solo career?
Black Sabbath, I think, is probably the next most obvious. And then Rush and the old Ted Nugent band, UFO, those kind of bands like that were AC/DC. Those were the bands that I looked to as I learned my instrument. And then as time went by, I got to play with a lot of great players, and that has influenced me as well. So between the influences of my teachers and the influences of the people that I've played with, that's what makes the music now.
All right, great. Excuse me, did you say anything before Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath is definitely my #1 influence of all time.
How's the record doing in sales? I think that it's #1 on the iTunes chart, right?
#1 Amazon, #1 iTunes, cracked the top 40 at Billboard. Pretty much either 20 or lower in all of the charts around the world. 15 in Germany, 17 in Austria, 11 in Sweden. It's killing, man. It's killing.
So the response all around the world is great.
Yeah, top 20 pretty much around the world. Yep.
All right. And where did you find your musicians? I know Mike is from Stained, but what about the rest of the guys?
Jesus Mendez and Jesse Farnsworth been longtime friends. I've made music with Jesus for about 10 years now. He worked for Metallica as a local road crew guy in the 90s, and he became the Echo Brain drum tech on our tour, and then we became musical partners in about 2002. And so we've been making music in the Chop House for more than 10 years. And then Jesse Farnsworth and Jesus have played in bands together for about 10 or 12 years, so they have a lot of experience together. And then as the Power Trio, we've played about 6 years, the three of us that made the Metal EP. And then Mikey joined in February of this year, so the actual band, the quartet that makes up Newsted, has only been together for 6 months. And we've already, been around the world and have an EP and an LP out and all that kind of thing. It's happening pretty fast.
And how's the chemistry before you out of the stage?
It really turned out great. I mean, it was all been proven, by the years and years we've played together. We already knew the chemistry was present, so we really just had to go out and show off. We're a very well-rehearsed band. I run the band pretty much sternly and with a lot of discipline, and we practice a lot, and we don't fuck around. So we were ready when the stage was ready for us, and it was just a matter of us blossoming. We practiced enough to be ready for it, so when we were given the chance, I really think it worked good.
So besides being musicians, you are also great friends. You're close to each other.
That's true. I could have chosen a supergroup. I could have went and picked pretty much anybody. I think could have gotten just about anybody in this band that I wanted to. But I didn't want to do it that way. It had to be different. It had to be friends first. It had to be people that I could get along with. And these guys have been, friends for a long time. They come and stay at my house for months at a time, and we have dinners and drinks, and we know each other's families and all these things like that. So that's much more valuable to me at this stage of my life than just somebody that can play. Because there's a lot of people that have like a shiny Les Paul, a big fancy drum set, and big Marshall stack, and
big names.
Stuff. It doesn't mean they're cool. Doesn't mean they're good people. Doesn't mean they're motivated. Doesn't mean they're clear-eyed or not drunk or any of that stupid shit. Gotta have people with conviction. Gotta have people that are disciplined and motivated, and that's what I've found here.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you again. So maybe like 7 songs from the recording session of heavy metal music weren't released yet. Am I correct?
I think it's 4 that are left now.
4, all right. Are you going to release them maybe next year, maybe for a second EP?
I'm not sure about that. There's 2 extra bonus tracks, I think, on the Japanese version, and so there's maybe going to be a total of 15 songs available from my first writings that are out in the world right now. I held back a few of them. There's one that I held back that will definitely be heard by people later. It's a giant ballad with, big epic song with violins and all this thing that I wrote for my wife for our wedding. And so that is actually a really crazy, beautiful song that I've been advised by the record company to hold on to until a couple records from now. The chance of another EP, I'm not sure about that. We will see if that makes sense to do some more iTunes stuff to let people know what's happening with the new music when we have our next new batch of music, or if it just makes sense to go right into the album mode again. I'm not really sure about that, but we have a lot of songs, newer songs that weren't from the old batch. I have 3 brand new ones that I wrote on a Gigantour. I know that Mike has about 4 brand new ones, and I think Jesse has 9 brand new ones. So we have a whole new, at least a batch of songs to be working on a new record when the time finally comes. But
All right.
we've only got 50 shows under our belt. Like I said, we're only 6 months old, so we have a lot of live playing to do before we think about doing some more recording again.
You told me that the other guys wrote music too, wrote some songs. So in this new record, the next record actually, everybody's gonna appear like an author or from some songs, or are you gonna still be the only songwriter for Newsted, like the first record?
Well, everybody did collaborate on all these songs as far as putting in their own pieces and making them what they are. So I came up with the skeletons of the songs. I wrote the arrangements and I programmed the drums for the demos and put all the guitar tracks on and did all that stuff myself, all the instruments and the voice on the demo. And then the demo I give to Mikey and Jesse and Jesus, and then they learn it and come back and put all their artistry on it, and it becomes what you hear. The demo is a very simple kind of thing with me playing guitar, which is not really that pretty. So, I just play guitar like I play bass. And so I just make the ideas and put the melodies on there very simply, and then those guys come and play real guitar parts on the albums and make, like Mikey with all his leads and his craziness and all that, put the color and the dimension on the songs. So I consider all of the members of this band to be authors on this first album. They just took my seeds and we helped grow them into fruit to harvest together. And the next album will be the same. Whoever brings in the skeleton, we'll all build on that skeleton together and make it a song. So it's very much a group effort. These particular ones are from my ideas, but it is very much a group.
All right. Any plans to tour South America soon?
Yes. We are trying to get all of our touring stuff together for the next 12 to 14 months now, because we're just really, started scratching the surface with the festivals that we played and all that kind of thing, and getting the album out and letting people know that we're alive. So South America is a very special place for me, as you know. Being so close to Sepultura and spent a lot of time there away from my own band, and I spend a lot of time in South America when I'm not playing music. I just go down there to be friends.
Really? What country?
Mostly Brazil with Andreas and Paulo and Cavalera boys. I go down there a couple times and just hang out with their families and things like that.
Oh, awesome.
So it's always very, very special for me like that. And people have always treated me like a king there, so I'm excited to come back, It's just been a long, long time since I was able to share my music with the people there, so I'm very excited about that. I'm not really sure when that's going to be out of the next 14 months, but we definitely will be coming down there.
Maybe next year?
Oh, yes. Within I would say within 10 months.
Oh, awesome. Hopefully you can make it to Peru. You have tons of fans here.
Oh, for sure. When we play Lima, that's I remember it being just crazy. So I'm very excited about it.
Yep. You talked about Sepultura a bit ago, so my next question is about Sepultura. I didn't know you were kind of like friends with, or great friends with the Caballero guys and Andreas and Paulo. My next question is kind of silly, actually. Are you still a big fan of Sepultura? What do you think about the latest releases?
I am a big fan of Sepultura. They are my favorite band, I think, probably from the 90s. It's between Caius and Sepultura is my favorite band of that time.
Right.
They are the best at what they do. They are the best in the tribal feeling metal, that rawness, that, the Latin flavor into the metal. No one does it better than them. Puya does it pretty good, but nobody touches Sepultura. They're still my favorite band in that kind of energy and that kind of ferocious take on music. I've been good friends, I consider brothers, for 20 years with Sepultura, and they've come and stayed at my house. I went to stay at their house. We've made music together, a lot of different music over time. Andreas and I have had projects together, Sexo Turica and Tree of the Sun and many other projects through my life, and so we've been close for a long, long time, and their latest releases, they can do no wrong in my eyes. Sepultura, there's no way for them to do a bad song. For me, I like everything they do.
Me too. I like every single Sepultura record.
Exactly.
All right. Back in 1995, talking about Metallica, back in 1995, were you okay with the musical direction of Load and Reload?
I wasn't, you know, it became kind of a monopoly at that time. James and Lars really took over the songwriting, and there wasn't a lot of room for the rest of us to get anything in. It was a very weird time for everyone. And so I would have definitely liked to see some of the songs go faster and have a little bit sharper teeth, you know. They did. They eventually all went together, and it made sense that they came from the same time period of recording and writing and stuff. So it all makes sense to me now that I look back on it. But at that time, you know, I was really chomping at the bit to get kind of faster and get kind of crazier. That's when I was making demos with Andreas and Devin Townsend, and all that was 1994, 95, 96 was when I first started making the Irate demo and all that stuff in the Chop House, playing really scary, fast thrash metal music. So that was what was in my blood. But it came out okay. I think I was more bothered by the approach of the album cover and the photographs with makeup and all that stuff like that. I was really having a hard time with all that. As a fan and as a member of the band also, but mostly as a fan, I was looking at it like, this don't feel right. You know, so now that the time has passed, everything is fine, and I kind of look back at a couple of those pictures and think they're pretty cool. Like that one with, I got the Elvis hair with the big pompadour, and, you know, that kind of photograph, the black and white photograph. I like it now that the time has passed, but at the time I fucking hated it.
Yeah. Okay. I always wanted to ask you that, so I feel great now. Thank you.
There's a couple good songs like the, you know, Devil's Dance and what's the last one? The lyric, Low Man's Lyric. I think it's a pretty good song, man. Pretty good song. There's some good songwriting there. It's just not quite as maybe ugly as I would have liked it to be. Yeah,
definitely. During the 90s, I always say to my friends, during the 90s, Jason had the balls that Metallica left a few years ago. You know, Jason kept the thrash metal feeling, the thrash metal craziness on the stage with Metallica. So that's what made Metallica great during the 90s, during the Load, Reload, and, you know, that era. So thank you very much for that, Jason.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, man. I think that the live thing makes all the difference, and that's really how I always tried to make up that feeling, you know?
Exactly.
If the recording was a little bit light, I always tried to make it as scary as possible in a live thing.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because of your backing vocals, you know?
That's right. Exactly right. Yep.
I love that. So, you played Phantom Lord with Dave Mustaine a few days ago, right, in Gigant Tour.
Yeah, man.
How did that come up?
Well, the managers and agents and stuff had discussed it for a while. You know, like maybe you and Dave could get together and you could do a song. It was when we were first starting even talking about doing the tour. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. And then Dave and I talked about it. And we each had our own schedules and we're doing our own things, so we couldn't make it happen. And finally we said, okay, what song is it going to be? And we start narrowing it down. Is it going to be that? Should we do Whiplash? No. Should we do which ones did you write, Dave? We wrote that one, I wrote that one. Okay, so let's do either Metal Militia or Phantom Lord. Okay, no, Metal Militia, that's not going to work. Phantom Lord, let's do Phantom Lord. So finally got to the very last show. And Dave goes, okay, let's go rehearse it. And I'm like, all right, man. So we went up on the stage for sound check, and we played through the song once, and it was just a mess. And I'm like, man, holy shit.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Anyway, you know, we have to go for it, no matter how sloppy it is. Let's fucking go for it.
Yeah, it was great, man.
It really came off great, and, you know, it was the first time that Dave ever played a Metallica song in Megadeth, so that's a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And then that I got to actually be the lead singer of Megadeth. I got to front.
Yeah.
And no one ever has done that before, ever. You know, so that was like two firsts in history of metal music right there. And for me, as a fan of Megadeth, you know, I mean, way back when Flotsam opened for Megadeth and that, they were my heroes, man. And so to be able to get up there and to do that and do my own thing and be the actual front man of the band, that fucking felt so good. It was like a little kid, like I was 19 years old again. First, you know, Motorhead, man, come on, you know?
Yeah.
That metal kid, no matter all the experiences I've had and all the millions of people that I've played for and all that thing, that moment was I went all the way back to high school in my room, turning up AC/DC, let's fucking do this, you know? So it was like a very special moment in my career.
Oh, yeah.
A highlight of my career to be asked to do that. And I don't know if you know, but you know, Dave and I have been friends for 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always had a good friendship. We never had anything where it was bad or we talked bad about each other. We've just had a good friendship for nearly 30 years.
Oh,
and that's
really?
not something you can say a lot. And not a lot of people have friends for 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
And
especially in the business, in the music business.
In 1985, he gave Flotsam the opportunity to play out of Arizona for the first time ever. We played in California opening for Megadeth in 1985, and
Whoa.
I'll never forget that, you know, because he gave us that chance. We were able to be the band and be a bigger band and everything because Megadeth gave me that chance. And then 28 years later, here I am supporting Dave again, and we're alive and we're playing the music and we're playing it loud. We're 50 years old and still kicking ass.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's pretty special that we've come that far and made that mark and helped invent this music, you know, and stuff. It's pretty special.
Yeah. What goes around comes around, like they say.
That's right. And as long as you keep chasing it and doing it in a positive way.
Exactly.
In a positive way. If you do it in a negative way or a druggy way or all that kind of shit, it's not going to last very long.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it when you really mean it, when you've been given the gift and you appreciate
Exactly.
the gift you've been given to share with people, then you can do it for a long, long time.
I saw the video like half hour ago and I had goosebumps. To be honest with you, well, holy shit, this is amazing. I didn't know that you were such a great frontman. So
there was some energy, wasn't there?
yeah, a lot of energy, man. So that was history right there.
I could have been 20 years old again. You'd never know.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like the same kid that I saw on Live Shit Seattle, 1999.
Yep.
The same guy, the same. So congratulations for that too. What do you think about this Metallica versus Megadeth thing going on between fans?
It's just silly. All those things are always going to happen. David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar.
Mm-hmm.
Scott versus Brian Johnson. Blah, 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 blah. You know, it's always going to be like that. Whatever, let it be. It's healthy for competition. I know what the real deal is behind the scenes. I know everybody has respect for each other. Now that all the years have passed, we're all brothers, man. We're all just happy we're still alive. I mean, considering all of the shit that's happened, drug addiction, alcoholism, all the other stuff that's happened in all of our lives, and we're still alive and playing songs for people strong, that's an accomplishment of success in itself. So shit and negative talking about who hates each other or that one guy left a band 30 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I mean,
it's stupid.
Look what's happened. Now we have 3 killer bands out of all that. Got Megadeth, got Metallica, got Newsted.
Yeah.
All 3 killer bands because of what decisions were made, and all of us are making good music. You know, somehow it all was supposed to happen. It's destiny.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You were out of the public eye for a few years. You had an elbow or maybe wrist injury, right?
Shoulder. I had 3 different shoulder surgeries from 2004 to 2008, and so I was really not able to play my instrument the same. I was still able to do some studio recordings with Voivod and those kind of things, but I wasn't able to be the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a couple of years there that I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to be myself again.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play the same or anything. It was very, very scary time. So
you were painting at that time, right?
Right, yeah. So I started painting instead, and then that became my purpose. That became the same thing as the music, where I stay up night after night after night working on projects and not even knowing whether it's day or night and not caring either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. So painting is my second passion, and I have actually become pretty successful with that too. I have a lot of collectors that pay thousands of dollars for my paintings now, and
maybe Lars.
Huh?
Lars Ulrich?
No, he did come to my show, though. He hasn't bought a painting yet, but he did come to my show, my art show, so that was pretty cool.